8:45, welcome back. It is Wellness Wednesday, and this week we're posing a question. What does it mean for you to get in shape? What do you have to do? We ask that question because essentially the guidelines have changed according to the American College of Sports Medicine. So what is it? Got Spencer Shields on in to break it all down, and this is of significance because we're talking about the gold standard as far as these recommendations are concerned. So what is the old recommendation and what's the new one?
So the American College of Sports Medicine is what clinicians and trainers use to build programs for their clients. And before, they were looking at doing about 150 minutes of moderate cardio work. So think 30 minutes 5 times a day of cardio running. In addition to that, they wanted you to do about 2 to 3 times a week of strength training. So it was more of a rigid, do all or nothing kind of approach, and that makes it harder for the general population to get into. The new guidelines, the ones that just came out, the first time since 2009 that they've released any, are more about flexibility, and that strength training is still very important. It's actually more so important than before, but it's not about having that rigid time structure. Now it's about having flexibility. So think doing 10-minute short burst type of training, about 10 push-ups and 20 body weight squats as many times as you can in 10 minutes is going to be just as effective for somebody getting into training than doing an entire hour-long workout.
What's the methodology here when we say that it's just as effective? Are we talking about the science or the motivation that you're simply moving?
Well, it's actually both. The science and real life has shown us that it's easier for people to be consistent by having something that's more flexible for them rather than having a rigid all or nothing approach. So we looked at just what are people actually doing. And if you can make it easier for people to get into it, then they can start doing that more progressive previous guideline approach.
So then if that is the case, people who previously followed this pledge to get fit according to the old standards, are we looking at any changes in terms of people who did it the old way versus the people who do it the new way?
If you were doing it the old way and it was working for you, that's great. Keep doing that because they're still getting benefit from it. But the old way is really more meant for, think about athletes or well-trained individuals rather than general population. And so they wanted to change the mindset of the guidelines to get more people involved and have better health outcomes.
Yeah, very much so a starting point here, because it is fair to say that a lot of the expectations when you're getting into this might be a bit over your head in terms of what's being asked of you.
Exactly. It was more of a zero sum. If you weren't doing it, you weren't getting any results out of it. Now, I mean, when they're talking about strength training, it doesn't have to be Olympic lifting or lift like a football player. You can work with just bands. And the science shows that you will get great results with it just by starting off with something that you weren't doing before.
Now, during the break here in the tee shot, you had the band there and you were doing an exercise where you were stretching out. What were you doing?
So I was working I'll do this when I'm sitting at a desk because your shoulders get a little round. I was working my serratus anterior, and this is something that you can do. Just take a band, start pressing up in this motion, and I'll go for as many reps as I can in about a 2-minute period. I'll get intensity, I'll get my heart rate up, and that'll actually give me a little neurochemical bubble bath to get my focus back up and going.
Not a neurochemical bubble bath, Spencer.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that, we're moving.
I know. It gives you more of a positive mood, gives you more productivity when you're sitting at a desk. All that gives you benefits.
All right, bands will make us all dance. We appreciate you, good sir. Thank you for walking us through that, because I think it's important, as again, it can be a little daunting to get started, and this gets you started while also knowing that you're doing the right thing.
Absolutely. And if you do want more information, because this is more nuanced, I do have a full-length article on MaxwellNutrition.com breaking up the entire program.
All right, well, that's where you go, and we will link you there at WWLTV.com. Always a pleasure, good sir. Thank you.
Always.
All right.